right, so we're gonna mix stuff up a little bit this week, right? Bringing in the foam roller, and this is gonna be one of those things that if people show up a little bit early, you should be doing this, right? So there's some controversial stuff said about foam rolling, like it doesn't do stuff, but if you have time to do it, taking care of your tissue is always a good choice, all right? So we're gonna do 2 spots only because we got 1 hour, and we're gonna start with the TFL. So to find the TFL, I find my anterior superior iliac spine or my hip bone, right? I'm gonna go down right into my front pocket region. So it's a tiny little pocket muscle right about there, and then I'm gonna lay on top of it. So that's 1. And then 2 is gonna be the sartorius. So I'm gonna go on the inside of the leg, right? Starting in about here. And I'm gonna trace that up and across because that's gonna attach to the inferior spine. So it's gonna be a little line that way. Both of these things are hip flexors that get overused, and we wanna strengthen the big hip flexor later, which is your psoas. So we're just kind of shutting these ones off, all right? So they're the ones that are responsible for whether or not you're a pigeon or a duck, too. So that's always a fun one. So lay down on top of it, right? TFL, I'm gonna go kind of like a sideways angle, and I'm gonna hang out right here, right? I can rock back and forth, right? And once I find it, I hang out. And you know when you find it, and if they can't find it, then go find their hip bone and push on the spot where they say ouch, right? And then they found it. After they hold this for about 30 seconds, they can go into the IT band and just flush the sides all the way down. That's totally good, and I would recommend that as well. After that, let's go and we'll bring the leg up a little bit, and then I'm gonna lay on top of it, and I'm gonna go on the inside portion of my knee here. So I'm still on the thigh a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to internally rotate. So it's kind of hard to see my foot. I'm gonna slide back just a little bit, right? If I do that. So if I do that and I start turning as I go, you're gonna find a long band of pain, right? So that's your sartorius. And if they run, they call it the runner's muscle. So if they run, this is gonna be atrocious. If they lift, it's generally awful for everybody. So these 2, we wanna get those mobilized and get after it, right? Because these are the things that are gonna be affecting some of the hips of the members and ourselves included as trainers. So it does about 30 seconds to a minute, and then we're ready, right? You can go in and you can stretch them a little bit more if you want to do some more hip flexor stretching, but not necessary because dynamic warm-up handles it. Oh, look, it's back again, right? Again. Now, are you doing it right? Or righter every time? Are your toes straight forward? Right? When you pull back, are you doing this still, right? Or are you straight forward and upright? You don't get good at something by doing it twice. So this is one of those things. This is an everyday thing, okay? Then quad pull. No, knee hug, right? Here. So when I'm doing these, same thing. Can I maintain that level position and not crank out to the sides and fall? Then if they got that, come up on the toes. Straight lines. Straight lines, right? Cradle stretch, same thing. Straight lines. Straight lines. Are they bending down to grab it? Are they bringing it up into their hands? Right? Details. If it doesn't look good, it's not right. It's got to look good and feel good. Quad pull, same side, same leg, right? Up. Reach that arm up. Up. Right? If I'm being picky, I want them straight. So this isn't going to cut it. Open. Come up. You can always try harder. You can always do a little better. So call them out. If I see these, not doing it. Right? You get exactly what you put into this. True meritocracy here. Right? All right. Single leg RDL, we know what's up. Sink down. Am I allowed to raise my hip up? No. Right? So stay down. Stay down. You've been breathing? Like I said, always something to work on. Right? Your physical fitness is the dishes. They always need to be done every day. Right? And that's the way I view my warm-ups, is eating vegetables. Right? Doing the stuff so that we can have fun. Lunge it, twist it. You can drop it back. Right? You can walk it forward. You can bring the arms up. Play around with them just to make it a little bit more interesting. Right? So if they get bored with the redundancy and you get bored, it's okay to be creative, but the thing that I'm looking for are hips stuck. Right? Sternum movement, right? That's all I'm really looking for. Lateral lunge, toes straight forward, so I can make sure that they're working on their arches. okay? So left leg here, arch is gone. Right leg arch is huge. Back. Back. So if I'm seeing, right? If I see something like this, we're not doing it. Do it. Right? But also, remember, most important thing, you showed up. Right? So levels to the game. First, show up. Second, do everything perfectly. Right? It takes a little while. So again, it doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to be working with an eye towards what perfect looks like. You need to know what perfect looks like so you can get there. World's greatest. Straight line. Exhale. Inhale. Back. Right. Exhale. Inhale. Back. Right. You know how to do those. Okay. Form running. Working running mechanics. I'm taking everything a little as a bass backwards this week. So to get strong, we still need to build aerobic capacity. And then sprinting and running is actually one of the most, it requires plyometric strength and elasticity. And I want everybody to have that, because the last thing that we want to be, right? I don't want you to run like that. I want you to glide, right? So first and foremost, first thing that we're going to do, high knees, right? Eyes straight ahead, chin is tucked, bringing them up. Then the butt kick that we're going to do, we're not going to come all the way back here because we're going to simulate a running stride. So I'm straight, right? So I'm here. Not necessarily butt, more like high hamstring. Arms move when you run, everybody. Right? Kick it over a little bit. Lateral shuffle shifting, right? Right? Well, let's give you a long one. Right? Toes are straight forward, all right? We don't do back pedals because back pedals is how people trip and fall over. Unless they're really advanced, I don't ever have anybody back pedal, all right? After that, karaoke, right? Behind, in front, behind, in front. Again, my chest isn't moving here. My hips are, my pelvis is, right? Warming them up. Marching, right? So for the march, hips forward, attacking the ground with the power pad of the foot. Oh no, right? So I'm here. Common mistake is leaving the butt behind him. Don't leave the engine behind him, right? And then we turn that march into a skip. Right? So marches into skips. Lateral bound, so it's a big jump. So when I'm doing it, think your lateral lunge, but explosive now. Boom, 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 right? Lateral lunge, combined but now done powerfully. Straight leg bound. Up, right? So those. Now they're ready to run. So the next part, again, we're doing it bass backwards. So I'm killing, and we're killing their conditioning first, and then we're gonna focus on movement, technique, and quality afterwards. So this way we're gonna build a foundation to get really strong this winter, because when we were doing stuff last week, I'm feeling and I'm looking like we need to build some capacity first and some technique first, and teach them how to use their bodies. All right. So first thing, they're gonna have 4 rounds. They're gonna have 3 minutes to complete a distance. Whatever time is left over is rest. This means that it's a 12-minute mile if it's just run normally, right? I don't feel like that's a big ask. But if somebody doesn't have a 12-minute mile, then they're basically just running continuously for 12 minutes. All right. Those of them that are faster, a good 400 time. I mean, it depends on what we're dealing with. So if they're a competitive high school athlete, that's under a minute, right? And they get 2 minutes to recover, and they can do that. This workout works for them. If they are running a 90-second 400, they're fast and they're athletic, right? So then they have to run 90 seconds. So what I'm going to do is on the first round, I'm going to time trial them, and if they come in at 130, then they need to match that 130, right? So that's the goal. If they come in at 130 and then 2 minutes and then 2.5, they did it wrong, right? I want them to continuously hammer a same high level pace, because when we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take away a lot of their sugar, a lot of their energy. So then when we do our couplets right afterwards, they're going to have to really work on technique and breathing. So this is what it is, and I'm still going to go over and over and over this, because you can't get strong if you can't breathe, right? And if you don't do reps in accordance with your breath, it's not like you're not doing it perfectly. It's like you're half doing the exercise. The whole point is to challenge your heart and your lungs with everything, because that's the foundation of health and everything. And then we can get strong. So people say strong first. Yeah, it's great. But if you don't breathe, you'll never be strong, right? You won't be able to recover from the damage of the strength training. You'll never be able to move the really heavy loads that really take mediocre lifters to that elite level. And that's what we want, right? So this is how we plateau bust, by doing stuff that you don't typically do, right? So the first couplet that we're gonna do, and I say heavy goblet squat, and I mean it, right? They just ran, my legs are tired. Yeah, but your quads aren't, right? So load them up. I have 48 kilograms, that's 106 pounds, right? So if they can, and again, that's not a huge ask if they're running 90-second 400s or 2-minute 400s. They should lift really heavy here. So I'm gonna hike it back, right at the chest. So big things that I'm looking at, if I see this, right, what are we loading now? Right? And when you're loading your back, you load your quads, right? So load your quads. Grab the ground with your tootsies, right? Grip it, eyes straight ahead, chin tucked. Drive your knees forward and sit down. If you got to bring the weight in front of you a little bit, that's fine. I'm looking for the shin angle down here to match their torso angle. So if I see something like this, that's not what I want. That's a hinge. Shin angle matches torso angle at the bottom. Exhale. Right? If you run out of heavy kettlebells, guess what? There's heavy dumbbells in the weight room. Steal those too. Right? And I actually do think sometimes the dumbbell is a little bit easier to hold and maneuver than the kettlebell for this exercise specifically. After that, tall box step up. So 20 to 24 inches, right? So they're gonna get into a lunge position, push up, and then walk down. You can have them do each leg, right? So they could do 12 right leg, 12 left leg, or they could just walk them through. They can put 20 on there, so 10 right leg, 10 left leg. All right, so they can walk them through. Keeping it relatively continuous. So during these times, they have 3 rounds of each of these couplets. Drink water, right? But try to keep the pace moving. Don't stop to talk, right? That's another thing. Don't stop to talk. We got 1 hour to get work done. Chit chat time is before and after the workouts, right? Okay, lateral lunges and single leg pass through. So the lateral lunges, right? Same thing that we did before. And a couple of different options that I'm gonna toss in there. So if we have carpet sliders, or we have anything where they can physically slide it out, that's something, this is the pattern I'm looking for, right? I'm not looking for a big weight shift, I'm looking for this. All right, so that being said, if I have a kettlebell and I don't have a slider, if I have a slider, it's gonna look like this. Right? If I don't, it's gonna look like this. Because I don't, right? So the weight is this leg. The push out, there's nothing on this foot, right? Opposite hand, opposite leg. I got 24 on there, meaning 12 per leg. The alternating for the single leg, so you're gonna pass through, opposite side, opposite leg. Inhale down. Right? Got it? Pass it. Come up. Now switch. Pass it. Up. Switch. Up. Just like that. Now our second couplet is already done. Alright? Side plank abductions and hamstring bridge walkouts. Side plank abductions again. You got variations. Easy one. Straight line from head all the way to knees. Clamshell. Still difficult. 1. Next, straight back top leg. 2. Cinderella ate your dinner up.
No.
Hardest one. So 1, 2, and 3. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by Cinderella and Aurora. Okay, so side plank abductions, that's one. Hamstring bridge walkout. All right, start at regular bridge. Move the foam roller. So up. All right, you can do multiple steps. All right, just have them go from a neutral bridge or regular bridge to them walking their feet out as long as they can. And feel free to play around with the rep count on that one a little bit, because I have it written as if they're going really far out and really slow. Okay, so we can always add more reps to it. If they get done with it too fast, they got a smile on their face, they didn't do it. Right? This one's gonna be rough. This week's gonna be a little tough. All right. So then we got that. So those two, side plank and the hamstring bridge, and then the last one is gonna be the knee to elbow crunch and then leg lowering. Okay. So knee to elbow crunch. Right. So I'm just enforcing a neutral spine, head supported, touch, back. So I'm looking for them to really not pull these back too far beyond 90. So if I'm way up here, I'm cheating myself. I want this to be at 90, and I want to try to meet it. Inhale. Right? Are you breathing? Right? So that one, and then another one to encourage that position. Again, we're attacking anterior pelvic tilt still. Right? Legs up, again, not past 90. Here. Right? Let's see how tight their hamstrings are. Inhale. Exhale. Ribs are connected, right? Low back is flat, ribs are connected. Lots of different ways of accomplishing that movement. Just make sure their lower back is flat and they're not arching as they're lowering down, all right? So then they got a couple stretches. They got down dog, up dog, and pigeon. Remember, right? So down dog, relax your shoulders, right? Get about shoulder width apart and hang out. Big deep breaths. Up dog. Length of the neck, push down, right? Not trying to make my shoes dirty, but if you wanted to get picky, you put the tops of your feet on the ground. Two, pigeon. Trick with pigeon, remember, right? Everybody that's tight here cheats it. So what I want to do is I want to block, right? So I'm going to block my leg here, just like this, and I'm going to sink all the way back. Oh, hi, Isla. And that's pigeon pose. So real quick with pigeon pose, a couple of cool details with this. So who taught me how to do it like that? Dan McClain, right? So great PTs, worked with Robert Linkle before, and this is how he saw to address this. And this is fantastic because this looks like shin boxing later. So that, and then the other one, Russ actually told me, when you see people collapse on this and fall forward, you can't stretch your hip capsule if your lower back is in flexion. Your lower back has to be an extension for you to stretch your hip capsule in this position. So people who are super mobile and just flopping over here, you're doing it wrong, right? So everything that we do in a workout is a challenge. If it's not a challenge, you're not doing it right. All right, so that's Monday.